What's up, Transformers fans? I'm Mondo, the Dead Bottomist Prime, and this is another Moonbase 84 transmission. Now, I know the reason you clicked on the video was because the topic in the thumbnail is, do these bots belong at Ollie's? But to get there, I have to give you a little bit of a backstory of how I ended up at Ollie's. So, it all starts on Tuesday night. I went to the Weird Al concert that came around near my hometown. 2 years in a row I've been to Weird Al, so that's awesome. Another great show. And my buddy Jason and I decided that if he comes around close to us again next year, we will go again because it is a fantastic time. I highly recommend it. But anyway, so because I went to that concert, I had originally taken Wednesday off from work. And I said, well, that's kind of crappy, just taking a Wednesday off. Who just wants to take a Wednesday off? I don't like taking days off during the week unless there's a reason, like a doctor's appointment or something. So I took the rest of the week off. So I got up Wednesday, was mulling around the house, doing a few things. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go on the hunt in my area and hit my local Target, my local Walmart, looking for the Cyberworld Pirate Ship Scourge or the Yeti Hound. So I got in the car, obviously, went to both places. They didn't have anything. My Target was terrible. It was like gutted. And Walmart had some stuff, but not what I was looking for. So I was already out and about, and I remember my buddy saying to me that they had the Gamer Edition Skywarp at Ollie's. So I said, I'll swing by Ollie's and see if they still have it, because I need him to complete my Gamer Edition Seekers. So then I went to Ollie's, and they had some other stuff. I did pick up 3 bots. I'm going to talk about 5 in the video, because I left 2 there. I was in the middle of writing another video, a script for another video. And while I was doing that, I was opening up the bots that I got at Ollie's, and I said, you know what? It got me thinking, did they like deserve to be at Ollie's? Obviously they were at Ollie's probably, most likely because they sold poorly, but did they deserve the poor sales to land them at Ollie's? And I said, that'd be an interesting and fun little video, so here we are. That's the backstory. First bot we're going to talk about is the Studio Series Devastation Bumblebee. And by all accounts, from everything I've seen, fans tend to really like this Bumblebee from the Devastation video game. They really enjoy this Bumblebee. I never picked him up at your regular retail stores, just because for the fact I'm sure he's a fine Bumblebee, but I'm happy with the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. But yeah, so why do I think he landed at Ollie's? This one's a simple one. He's part of what Hasbro is calling their A-level assortments. So far, every A-level assortment has been a Prime and a Bumblebee, and they mass produce these things so fans have a good shot to get these at the normal retailers like your Walmarts and Targets. The problem is I think they're so mass produced, they go on clearance at your Walmarts and Targets. They still don't really move as much as those retailers would like, so they pass them off to Ollie's, because they need room to get new product in. But yeah, I left this one behind. As I said, I don't really need him. I'm sure he's a fine Bumblebee, but I just didn't need him even at that discounted price. The next bot we're going to talk about is the Studio Series Transformers 1 Orion Pax, which is interesting because this is the A-level wavemate of the Devastation Bumblebee. So he was at Ollie's as well. This one I left, but I may end up going back to get him. The word is that he's a pretty poor figure overall, kind of a disappointment. But I like the Orion Pax design, and I like how he comes with a big like mining saw thing. I think that's cool, and I do want Orion Pax to pick a figure for my Transformers 1 collection. The thing is too, is though I'm pretty sure I'll be disappointed with him as well, because I was pretty disappointed with the regular Studio Series Transformers 1 Optimus Prime. It's just like they can't quite nail that version of Prime, and I think the problem stems from them both being deluxes. I think if they went up with Voyager on that, the Optimus Prime from TF1, it would have been a much better figure. But yeah, I might eventually go get him because I do like the Orion Pax design. I just know that I'm not going to be super thrilled with him. But yeah, he was at Ollie's as well. Now, I actually misspoke at the beginning of the video when I said I was going to talk about the five figures that I found at Ollie's, but there was another one that I didn't pick up, so now there were actually 6, and that is the Studio Series Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime. And this one is kind of funny to me because when he first came out, wasn't he the one that was a buzzworthy Bumblebee Target exclusive? And he was very hard to get. Scalpers were charging crazy amounts of money for him. They went ahead and re-released him, and you can still get him at a discount at many online retailers, your Target.coms, your Walmart.coms, your big bad toy stores. So he was once a highly sought after and scalp figure, and now he's at Ollie's. I still don't have one, and I didn't pick him up for the sole reason is because I wanted the 3 that I did pick up even more, and I didn't want to spend the extra money they wanted. I think he was $29, but I ended up with a better deal with what I did pick up. But yeah, he's another one I may eventually go back. If I decide to go back to get the Orion packs, I may pick this one up as well, but who knows. As for things I did pick up, as you can see here, we have the Legacy G2 or Laser Optimus Prime, or G2 Laser Optimus Prime leader class. Now I picked him up for $30, I think 25 or 30. This one, I'm not sure if this is the Legacy United or the Legacy Evolution, because he first came out in Legacy Evolution and then was re-released in Legacy United. And I remember at the time it was funny, when the Legacy United came out, he was the standard like just over $50 whatever leader class price, but a lot of the online stores still had the regular Legacy Evolution, the first release, and they had that one on sale, which I thought was funny, because why would you just buy it for the Legacy United box, basically, and not go for, there's a bug flying around. Ugh, go away, stupid. I don't know where, I had the windows open earlier. But anyway, why would you go for the Legacy United at the, the standard price and not get the Legacy Evolution for the sale price? I just thought that was funny. Big Bad Toy Store in particular had that going on. But anyway, I still never picked him up. This guy is on sale like at almost just like the Rise of the Beast Prime. This guy's on sale just about everywhere at a reduced price. I've been meaning to can't speak. I've been meaning to pick him up for a while, just to have a G2 Laser Prime, and updated one in the collection. And I've been passing. And then when I came face to face with him at Ollie's, I said I'd better pick him up, because I'm notorious for passing on figures, and then they become unavailable. And then you have to, if you do want them, you have to pay the scalper prices, the eBay prices or whatever. So I said, you know what? He's in my face. I'm getting him now, because I just knew if I passed him up again, I'd regret it if I wanted to swing back. Now, why did he make it to Ollie's? He's not the best. I don't hate him, don't get me wrong. I don't think he's garbage or anything. I don't think he sucks. But he's not the best. I think they could have done a little bit of a better job. His proportions are a little wonky. And I think he's very long-legged, but I don't think he's as long-legged as he looks. And that's because, the G2 design, having the big, sides of the front of the trailer cab or tractor cab, makes the proportions be thrown off. And he's got spindly arms, so he looks a little wonky. His transformation is a little finicky. You can get it, but yeah. So I think that's why he didn't become super popular. Maybe because some people just weren't into this G2 look or Prime, and he's got some wonkiness going on because of his arm articulation and things, but that doesn't bother me. But yeah, his proportions are off a little bit. Now, funny thing is that Aatron had picked up this mold, the Target exclusive repaint mold of the Target trailer. It comes with the Earthrise trailer, but done, for Target. And I didn't notice the proportions. They didn't seem off in that. I just didn't notice it. And I really do like the colors on that Target version of this mold. So now I hemmed and hawed about picking that up. My buddy still has one in his shop, my other buddy. I hemmed and hawed about it, but now I kind of want it. And the other thing is that I really think, unless my buddy puts it on sale or will sell it to me at a reduced price, I think I'll leave that one. But I still want this in the Scourge from the Velocitron Walmart line. And I know it's not technically Scourge RID 2001 Scourge accurate colors, but for now, for a representation of Scourge, RID 2001 Scourge, I kind of do want to go back and get that figure. But yeah, this is a okay Optimus Prime. It has its problems, and at the reduced price, it's a leader class. Ollie's has him for $29.99. Next up, we have the Legacy United Leader Class Tigerhawk. Now, the story behind this one is kind of funny, because I think the reason this guy landed at Ollie's are for a couple of reasons. One, the fan reception of him was just like ho-hum. For me, though, because this kept happening to me, it's because I kept forgetting about him. He was announced, he was there, oh cool, another modern Beast Wars figure to add to my modern Beast Wars collection. And then, things get released, the waves get released, and he kind of slips through the cracks. When you do, like, a lot of times when you do searches just for, like, Transformers Legacy United, he's way low on the list as you're scrolling through. So he kind of slipped through the cracks, and to be honest, I forgot about him after he was revealed, until Tron picked up the newer repaint, Razor Claw repaint. He's like, yeah, I picked up Razor Claw, he's really cool, I like him, or whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, I need that Tigerhawk. And then it got to, well, I don't really need both, colors for this mold. So do I want the Razor Claw, or do I want the Tigerhawk? And he kept slipping through the cracks. So then I put him on my Amazon, one of my Amazon lists. I do that to use this checklist to remind me of things, I want to pick up. And he's at a reduced price, but Ollie's had him at even a more reduced price for a leader class. Same $25 to $30 price point, which is like $20 off plus for a leader class, which is really cool. And like I said, the fans had like a ho-hum reception of this guy. And I can see that. I do like him. One thing that stood out to me is in this mode, how long, because he's a pretty beefy, chunky guy. He's got some weight to him. How long are those ball jointed back like bird legs going to hold up? I mean, you probably have to do the floor polish trick sooner than later. And they do like to fall if you mess with them like just a little bit. But overall, I think he's pretty cool. He's got the nice translucent green, the purples, whites. And it's funny that he was has been pushed into mediocrity, because fans loved the original Beast Wars Tigerhawk toy, and they really loved the Razor Claw repaint that came out in Universe. So the no excitement really from what I've seen about this new one is really strange to me. And overall, I think he's cool. I'm not going to say he's the best figure I ever got in my life, but he's a perfectly acceptable Tigerhawk to me. I love the detail on the wings. So yeah, pretty cool. The other one good thing about him is, for me personally, is, I had the box, I'm looking at the box, ready to open him up, and it said, transforms in 43 steps. The steps didn't scare me. Steps don't bother me. It's the Hasbro instructions. We all know that a lot of times the instructions suck. And I was like, oh boy, 43 steps of crappy instructions. But they were easy to follow. He transforms very oddly. I think he's cool. He's a Beast Wars figure, so they tend to do that. But it's kind of cool how he opens up and just goes blah, and then you rearrange parts and close them back up. But yeah, I'm happy to have finally picked this guy up, because like as I said, every time I remember him, I say, oh yeah. Another reason might be is because Tigerhawk was one of the most powerful characters in Beast Wars in the show, but he didn't last long. And he is the merging of Air Razor and Tigertron, which I think hurts him in the long run, because people really like Air Razor and people really like Tigertron. So to have them die to become Tigerhawk kind of hurts, I believe, this character's popularity. But yeah, I'm really happy to have picked him up at a discounted price. Now, you may have already guessed what the last figure was going to be in this video, because I mentioned in the beginning that after striking out at Target, striking out at Walmart, I went to Ollie's specifically to get the Gamer Edition Skywarp, and he was still there. This is another one where he is on sale at almost all the online retailers, and he's in my Amazon list, and I kept passing. Not because I didn't want him, but because there's only so much money to go around, and I have things that were higher up on my list of priorities, even though I love the War and Fall of Cybertron games. But again, he was in my face at Ollie's. I went there specifically to get him, so I knew I was going to pick him up. So here he is. Now, why did he hit Ollie's? for some reason, I mean, everybody is entitled to like what they like and not like what they don't like. And I am fine with that. I don't complain about people who like something I don't, or vice versa. It's just, it is what it is. And a lot of people's reception to the Gamerverse Gamer Edition line in general has been like not very good, not very positive. And one of the figures specifically, well, yeah, figures is the Starscream mold for the Gamer Editions. And of course, Skywarp is on the Starscream mold. And me personally, I get the gripes, but they don't bother me as much as some people. A lot of people griped about the Seeker mold, I'll call it Seeker mold, not Starscream mold, is that the cockpit is so big compared to, you know, the original game design. And yes, it is pretty big. It's a lot bigger. But to me, it doesn't bother me. And actually, most of the gripes people have, like I said, I recognize them, I understand them. They just don't bother me enough to not want to collect the Gamer Edition figures. Even the Megatron, we all know about the knee problem and the little nubs that prevent knee articulation, and if you want full range, you gotta shave them off. It doesn't bother me as much as other people, so I am collecting these guys. There's still a few more I need, and I'm hoping eventually the line continues. I might do a video on this. Hasbro's abandoning the line, but APC Toys seems, after being like just doing reissues for a while, seems to be getting back into it. They announced a War or Fall of Cybertron, I forget which, Soundwave, which I'm really excited for, and I'll be picking him up. And hopefully he scales decently with the Hasbro versions. And also, I've been going back to the old, you know, the original run of the War and Fall of Cybertron characters around 2012-ish or whatever, to fill out, you know, to supplement and to fill out my War and Fall of Cybertron collection with the new figures. And it's a crime that Hasbro has not given us at least the Grimlock. I want all the Dinobots in that game, especially seeing because every time they reissue the Planet X Vulcan, which is the Grimlock, I miss out on him. And I've been trying to pick one up. That's one that's very high on my list of pickups. But yeah, I got the Skywarp, and so now I'm away from the camera. I should have had these closer, but so now my Gamer Edition, hopefully they don't fall, I'm just throwing them up there. Seekers are complete, which I think is really cool, and I'm happy to complete them. He was $24.99, which Voyager's 30, if you're going by the old prices, like 32, now up as high as 45. Still a great deal. And as I said, now my Seekers are complete for Gamer Edition, and I couldn't be happier. So that's my look at my 3 Ollie's pickups, as well as the 3 I left behind. As to whether or not they deserve to be at Ollie's, ultimately that's up to you. I like what I like, other people like what they like I said. But I'll break it down. The 2 A-level, the Devastation Bumblebee, the TF1 Prime, I can see why they made it to Ollie's. They're mass produced, maybe so much to the point that, well, obviously so much to the point that the regular retailers are like, this is too much, we can't get rid of them, we have to get them sold off to Ollie's to get some of our money back. Now the danger about that, the unfortunate danger about that, is that Hasbro really wants to do those A-level lines. So far, as I said, it's a Prime and a Bumblebee, or a Pax and a Bumblebee. But if they flood retailers with too many, and they have to keep pitching them to Ollie's, retailers might say, hey man, we don't want these anymore. So there's a line that Hasbro has to walk with how many they're going to produce. And maybe, just maybe, for the next A-levels, maybe switch it up from Prime and Bumblebee. I know that those are the 2 main characters, but maybe switch it up and give us like a Starscream, and, or a Soundwave, or a Grimlock. You know, that way, you know, maybe that'll switch it up and have fans more interested. If I was Hasbro, I would consider that, or actually lowering the production of your A-level, but that's the line they have to walk. The G2 Laser Optimus Prime, I can definitely see why he made it to Ollie's. The execution of him could have been much better. Plus, he had 2 releases in, you know, during Legacy, the Evolution and the United, and obviously people weren't buying the Evolution one enough, making it go on sale on online retailers. Then they reissued him. So I can see why that made it to Ollie's. Rise of the Beast is really interesting to me, the Rise of the Beast Prime, because like I said, he was an exclusive, which was total bull at the time. I think if you're going to have figures for your new movie, you shouldn't have your main character being exclusive. That ended up being hard to get, and until they re-released him. And by then, Rise of the Beast, you know, the excitement for it faded away. Some people were probably mad because they ended up having to pay the scalper prices, and they're not going to buy another one just to buy it. So I can see why that made Ollie's and is on discount at other online retailers. Tiger Hawk, I think, because, you know, he's not mine, but I really like the Tiger Hawk. He doesn't blow you away like this is the greatest figure ever, but he's a nice Tiger Hawk, I think. But I think he's a victim of slipping through the cracks. That's the only thing I could think of. I know some fans, you know, were ho-hum about him, like I said. But I think he's a really nice Tiger Hawk. He's a perfectly fine Tiger Hawk. But I think because the fans that did get him were so ho-hum about him, it led to other people not picking him up. Plus, he's buried in the list of all the other releases. Like, wasn't really super promoted or anything. So I think that's why he ended up there. And I kind of talked to in depth about the War for Cybertron Secret Mold and the Gamer Editions in general. For some reason, fans are really down on them, except for the Prime. I happen to like them. I know some of them aren't that, you know, overall, execution-wise, aren't the best. I mean, weird design choices like that Megatron, but I enjoy them for what they are. I love the games, and I love to see the new updates of the figures. Of course, you know, would I like to see improvements if they were to continue? Yes, I would. But yeah, for me, I think he's really cool, but that's why he ended up at Ollie's. Now, does he deserve it? I don't think so. And it's funny because the videos, do these deserve to be at Ollie's? Now, the funny thing to me is that it sounds like I'm complaining they were at Ollie's, and I'm not, because I got them for cheaper prices. So I'll never complain if I find a bot that I like at Ollie's. Someday, I hope a Ross comes closer to my areas, because people seem to find some really cool bots at Ross. The closest one to me is like 2.5, 3 hours away. Maybe one day, if I'm bored, I'll take a trip to it. But anyway, so I don't think, I see why some ended up at Ollie's or deserve to be at Ollie's, but like this, I don't really get why. I know fans don't like it, and that's why people didn't buy it. But yeah, that is just my 2 cents. Some figures that I found at Ollie's. And as I said, I'm happy to have picked them up because they were on my list to get. And there they were, and I got them. Okay, that was a big ending rambling for the end of this. I tend to ramble when I'm not going by any kind of script or notes. And I don't apologize for it. It is who I am. With that being said, comment. I'd like to hear what your best Ollie's find was. What was your best Ollie's score for bots? I'd like to hear that. A lot of people, I'm sure, will say the Trypticon. I missed out on that. It sucks. But yeah, comment to let me know what your best Ollie's score was, as well as, do you think these guys should get the like poor negative reception? My pickups, or what I talked about, deserve the poor reception that they got sales-wise. With that being said, I've rambled, and now it's time for me to go. You're probably sick of hearing me. So until next video, thanks for docking.